astrology and other divinatory arts are not a replacement or substitute for physical or psychiatric health care. If this is an emergency situation or you are in crisis, please do not defer your wellness to readings or horoscopes. Seek situation-appropriate, qualified assistance instead. Blessings, everyone! It's time for another major astrological transit examination, and in this video we are talking all about the full moon in Gemini conjunct Mars retrograde, which is taking place on December 7th/8th, depending on where you live in the world, and the 2 weeks following this full moon and how it's going to be impacting each and all of us. Now, for those of you that are new to my all-in-one style of doing these major astrology talks, remember I am going to be putting a list in the down bar below for each sign and what area of life is coming into primary focus for each sign. And I'm also, in this video, because we've got a lot to talk about, going to be listing what is coming into secondary focus as well. So you're going to see on the top of the list the areas that are getting the most energy hits, and the next area where it's going to be happening, you know, also quite strongly. And the reason I'm doing that is because this full moon is not only going to be conjunct Mars retrograde, but it's also going to be forming a loose sextile to Chiron in Aries, a loose square to Neptune in Pisces, and a loose trine to Saturn in Aquarius. So we're also going to get a little bit of an astrology aspect overview, because we're going to be talking about the differences between a sextile, a trine, and a square, and a conjunction as well. So for those of you who, you know, have heard astrologers just kind of drop those terms all willy-nilly and they all kind of sound the same, don't worry, we're going to, you know, parse all that out and get some clarity on that there. If you are ever interested in getting a session with me, you can go on ahead to my website. It's integrativemysticism.com, or you can follow the links in the down bar below. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. You know I appreciate it, and of course engagement helps this channel out a lot. And if you enjoy monthly and weekly forecasts, I have weekly tarot forecasts that come out every Thursday/Friday, depending on what's going on that week. And I've also got, of course, monthly astrology reports available to everyone. I've already teased this full moon in the monthly astrology for December. This video is for the deep dive. So what is going on with this full moon? A conjunction in astrology is where one celestial body and another celestial body combine forces and the energies merge together. So we've got the power of the moon and the power of Mars retrograde combining forces all at once. And so we're looking at a culmination and a transition from a situation that is only getting worse or more difficult to keep on track. This will be either an agenda or maybe a loyalty, a project, an involvement, an association. This is something that we are attached to in some way that has already been working against us, whether we or others knew or maybe accepted it or not. Because Mars is retrograde, this will likely be something that we perhaps already know is a liability, toxic, problematic, unhealthy, or broken, but have still been giving it our support or our resources, the benefit of the doubt, looking the other way, or maybe sublimating that awareness by maybe redirecting a lot of what we're seeing onto other things, like, yeah, this is bad, but that's worse, or yeah, this is bad, but I can point out 3 out of the, you know, maybe 20 things that are bad that are not as bad, you know, that kind of thing. Where have we been kind of rationalizing a bit too much? And Mars retrograde is about taking those toxic things off the board so progress can happen. We have a loose square to Neptune in Pisces also going on at the same time, and this is going to be about clearing up confusion about one's desires. Okay, so we've got the Mars and Moon conjunction eliminating a chronic hindrance, right? This is kind of for our own good, even though it might not feel good. And then we also have clearing up confusion about what we want, as well as maybe what's going away in order for us to get a better handle on things. When there is a square in astrology, squares show up where it's not necessarily always negative. A lot of people assume that because squares can be challenging, challenging must be bad. which that's never a way to go about life. Squares show up when something has an opportunity to be good, or we have a chance to achieve something, a desired outcome, but we need to shift our priorities in order to satisfy the needs of our desired outcome. Squares can also show up where something must be addressed that is challenging in one part of our life in order to achieve the goals of another part of our life, and therein lies the challenge. So this full moon square to Neptune in Pisces, we have, again, this seeing truth without confusion, but also meaning uncomfortable truths that can't be suppressed or sublimated are going to be on blast. This is about seeing where we had the wrong ideas, about how a certain path or a certain plan would come together, or maybe how a certain ideal was supposed to be. It may be that we thought what is going away with that Mars-Moon conjunction was essential or required or meant to be there, or that it was part of an ideal model, but it's actually not, and it may not have ever belonged. It's a hindrance, right? This will also turn opinions the other way with regards to what we thought impossible and change our priorities a bit. So we've got the agenda, or the, a certain plan, a strategy, or a model we've been working with that is either faulty or no good, as well as maybe even some associations, role models, whatever, that are just kind of working against us, whether we want to see it or not. And then we have this course correction going, actually, this is what's supposed to be here. You want this, you can have it, but you have to do it a different way. You may be trying to get all the ingredients to the cake, but you don't know how to make a cake, so it doesn't matter. Or your ingredients might not be very good. You might have some spoiled eggs, or your oven might have a temperature that's way too high. It's just going to burn everything. And so you're going to be taken back to the drawing board. We all are. But at the same time, we are starting to see where what seemed impossible was only impossible because of who and what we were working with, and not necessarily impossible because it was impossible. We have to change our ways, change our route, change our means, and there's going to be a lot of swaps going on with that. There will be revelations of more strategies and beliefs that are working against us, and more revelations of where help and support in a healthy, organic, non-quick fix, non-instant gratification way need your attention so you can profit from them. Okay, very square. Check where the internal challenges are coming up with this, because internal challenges and resistance to positive changes are revealed both within yourself and with maybe people around you, or maybe certain ethos or certain philosophies, traditions, and things like that. And so we are going to have to, again, call spades spades and not sublimate or rationalize them away if we actually want to achieve, our desires. But also at the same time, again, very square-like, there's some challenging and some very good. We also see the underrated assets in your life start to become a lot more prominent. We have a loose sextile to Chiron. Sextiles occur when one celestial body, or in this case two, the moon and Mars, are reaching over from one end of a person's chart or one end of the chart to assist another area of the chart that is 2 houses away. So we've got a lift going on here. While all of this is happening, we see the healing of maybe wounded or broken thinking about toxicity or fault in general. Right now, this is kind of going into our philosophy, our personal edicts, our personal ethos, and all of that. And yet, at the same time, this is necessary because with this healing of wounded thinking, well, then we're also not going to be given to committing or following or rationalizing or sublimating toxic things we know we shouldn't. As well as also maybe getting the backbone or the courage and the support that we need to do what is healthy, even if we're in a situation where we've defended the unhealthy for so long, or have tried to overcompensate for it, right? Tried to polish it in some way. No. This is also going to heal a wound that was left on you while you were trying to do that. This is revealing an opportunity to heal a wound in the self, in the psyche, or one's own personal story. Perhaps there is something in the challenge or in the toxicity or the brokenness of what is being removed that we relate to for its own sake, that is showing us where we have to do better or where we have done ourselves harm in some way, hoping that the toxic or the busted would make it or be successful without any kind of real improvement. This is the time for a self-check, and we're all going to be going through this next 2 weeks. Is there something that you elevate and chase, maybe even look at as a role model or support, despite its unhealthiness, that makes you support it because you hope you can achieve greatness somewhere without changing your own toxicity or fixing your own challenges? We all do it sometimes. I can relate to the villain in so many stories because I see my toxicity in them, and if there's hope for them without having to change, there's hope for me without having to change. But in life, in real life, we do have to make those kinds of checks every once in a while. And where is it that maybe this needs to finally get, fixed? It could be an aspiration, a lifestyle, a model, or even a person or community. It's obviously what we have gotten bombarded with online and in all corners of it, right? But, you got to remember that it's all produced for us, so it can't all be organic. So if you're kind of feeling that maybe, we got an internet poisoned brain also affecting this is just for you guys. Let that go. Remember that sextiles are positive, and that means that while all of this is going on, there is also the healing or remediation of the very circumstances that would keep it as such. So this will be humbling positively and humbling in an uncomfortable way. We also have, finally, a loose trine to Saturn in Aquarius. Positive reinforcement and fixes. Trines occur in an astrology chart in a way where the energies of a celestial body in a sign of one particular element, so in this case, a full moon and Mars in the air sign of Gemini, form a harmonious connection with another celestial body in another sign of the same element, so in this case, Saturn in air sign Aquarius. And so what happens is that both of these areas of life are getting lifted up simultaneously. They're not getting challenged either. It's all easy. It's all smooth. There's no controversy. There's no difficulty whatsoever. No obstacles. Roads are perfectly open and clear. And so we see new commitments, new positive reinforcements for alterations, of course. However, also new boundaries showing up as well to protect us from a lot of what is getting cleared away so that it can't come back. This could indicate everyone leaving a path, a plan, a pursuit, a commitment that was a miscalculation, mistake, misallocation of resources, bad aim, or a hazard that was either revealed or maybe had red flags missed or go ignored for whatever reason. Either way, no more energy is going here. It's no longer, just being blocked or challenged, because, sometimes it's like, oh, we have to kind of beat the challenge. No, this was something that was blocked or challenged because it's not supposed to happen this way. It's getting taken off the table, not just blocked. This will be humbling, again, also in either a good way or a bad way, depending on how attached we have been to this no good matter and how healthy our attachment was to it. So it's important to allow this kind of assistance to come in. With Saturn, remember, Saturn is not an evil planet. Saturn is what I often call like the hard-ass professor or headmaster or old wizard that wants the best for us, but isn't going to sit around and just listen to our shit and give us a C because we cried. So it's important to allow the, Saturn energy in this situation to come in and move a mountain for you, even if you didn't know you needed that mountain moved and would have preferred otherwise. This is going to be an aspect that by the time we get to, January and its energies have dissipated, it's going to make a lot more sense. Another thing I wanted to mention before wrapping up, because I know this one's going a bit longer than I normally do with these, is that with the focus of Saturn being in here, a lot of things are also going to start going through positive reinforcement and fixes behind the scenes, whether it's behind the scenes on the job, behind the scenes in your neighborhood, behind the scenes in your career, in your relationships, or with your friends, or even across town, or however. And what's happening here is you're going to notice that your environment, you know, and the very atmosphere that you are, you know, connected to, however involved you get, is going through this shift as well. The good is getting better, the bad is going away. And it's really important that over the course of this that we notice where the bad has been getting worse for some time and not give too much sympathy as it goes. So that is what I've got for you all. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. You know I appreciate it. And should you ever wish to get a session with me, you can go on ahead to my website. It's integrativemysticism.com.